Daniel Levy, we've got Glazers, we've got Bully.
What does Bully represent?
American.
But like his corporate. I want.
We're using his name.
Yeah.
We are tagging
But
him.
now we don't know
He's
what
the
he
most
is.
active owner. Like he's on the ground. The owner is on the ground.
He's like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So we're taking LeBron,
Boli and Iqbali.
Mr. Minority Owner.
He's like Ryan Reynolds. I don't get it.
You don't know Ryan Reynolds? It's just
I know, but how does that relate to Todd
He's
Bowley?
The
active
majority-
like
Ryan
Ryan.
Reynolds is the owner. I guess. You know he owns a football club.
The majority.
Ryan Reynolds.
Wrexham. You don't know Wrexham?
Oh, man.
Wrexham or Reynolds?
Hey, like,
Bro,
Ryan
Ryan Reynolds owns Wrexham.
Wrexham.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's
it's
a
club in
football club.
England in the fourth division.
I didn't even know.
Ben
that.
Foster even played there for free for like 6
They want to
months.
sign Bale, bro.
Hey, they want to unretire Gareth Bale.
Hey, they're coming with rags.
You guys can start.
To be in the fourth division.
Hey, he has Rex late there. You know.
That's crazy.
He's always pulling up with the Avengers cast on about the body match.
That's actually fire.
Yeah.
That's actually fire. Alright. You gonna do your thing. Let me just start the intro. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back again to another episode of the For Football Show. It's your boy Apex in the building, and I'm here with my nigga.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy King Fix. You know what it does.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, my
Good to see
nigga.
you,
On
man.
cam too.
Good to see you, my
It's-
man.
it's recorded.
My Laker brother.
My G. Yo, for basketball, watch out.
Look out for that.
Watch
it's
out
coming.
for that.
It's coming.
bro. But like for this video, I think we're talking about the Premier League owners, right?
Ranking the worst owners out of the top 5 Premier League football teams.
For sure.
We have our traditional top 6, but
Yeah.
we can all agree that Manchester City has no reason to complain about their owners. So we knocked out City. We've got 5 left. Liverpool, Manchester United,
Right.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur. So we're gonna rank their owners from worst, from best to worst, I think.
Best to worst.
Because number 1 is gonna be the worst. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. So we're gonna get comparative, but I'm gonna mention like a bunch of different other owners that we didn't mention to talk about like how the business structure of the club affects the football. You get, because that's an important aspect.
Because and everybody knows you can't have a worst manager show and not talk about Mike Ashley. I'm sure Newcastle owners, whoever you are, wherever you are, you'll definitely agree with that.
Facts.
So for me, at number 5, I think these guys have no reason to complain about their owners. Manchester United, the Glazers. Me personally speaking, I know Manchester United fans will always complain about the Glazers, always complain about a lack of investment. I honestly think, and this the one part I will agree with Manchester United fans on, is that there seems to be a leadership void within the organization. So there's like the big organization in terms of the Glazer family, and then the running of the club is what I'll complain about, like leadership within the club, management within the club. And I think you're touted as one of the clubs that doesn't have, I don't know if it's a sporting director or a sporting manager or
More in
something.
charge of the transfers.
Yeah, somebody who's more in charge of that. So on that particular aspect, I'll agree with every Manchester United fan about that. Football in the now terms, you need to have somebody like that who's in charge of stuff like that. But on a general basis speaking, I don't know, man. You guys have spent $1 billion now over the past couple of years.
Since Fergie left. But that's the thing, spending the money doesn't necessarily equate to results.
That's what I'm saying. And the result aspect of it is like from the entirety of the club. It's not just from the ownership level.
True.
So, but I'm saying from the ownership level, I don't know, man. I don't know.
From the ownership
How
level,
do you feel about
I
it?
feel like with the Glazers, the main issue is their perspective of how they're operating United. They bought United using debt money. They withdraw dividends from
That's
the club
facts. That's facts.
themselves. So they're using it more as a cash cow, which I don't knock, right? Of course, it's your asset, it's supposed to generate cash for you. But it comes to a point where they rather worry about shirt sales than actually getting the right player that fits the system within the team. And for a lot of time, there hadn't been a synchronicity synchronicity with the the approval of certain players that managers wanted versus what Ed Woodward wanted. And Ed Woodward is not necessarily a football guy. He's from Wall Street, bro. They brought a Wall Street guy into football to run it like a business.
And that's exactly something I was about to say. Like, if you speak of it from that standpoint, you begin to realize that then American owners are the worst owners of football teams.
It's the capitalism.
Because exactly, they come from, like you just said, Wall Street. It's about, it's a business. It has to make money.
Share,
so there's obviously going to be that, it's going to be divorced. They're thinking about shareholders and making money. Fans are thinking about legacy. Fans are thinking about titles and championships. Fans are thinking about winning. They're thinking about marketability and how to get the club to be big and to generate profits. But for fans, that's why there's always going to be that disagreement between, especially for historic clubs like Manchester United, where it's about the badge, it's about the club more than exactly. It's more than just being a cash cow. So from that standpoint, you begin to understand that American owners, that way of ownership, because most American owners, like we were talking about this earlier, most American owners, this is like sort of franchise into them. They are branching out. They're already owning, sports teams within the American context, whether it's the NBA, whether it's NFL, whether it's MLB or the NHL. So branching out into like Premier League or whatever league, it's purely for business. It's not about the history. It's not about that. I sort of from that standpoint I sort of agree with you, but I still have
that's why I come in now and say the least. I wouldn't say it's United, because we're now just recently fixing a lot of things we could have fixed in previous seasons that left us in going through a lot as a fan base. You get to reach to the point now we have Ten Hag. He's fully implementing a system that we can see play out. He's gotten his players that he wanted, and there was a time and period where the results showed because of the alignment with it. But we still need to get rid of Ed Woodward and the Glazers. This sale needs to happen this
How are you feeling about that,
summer?
Man? How are you feeling about that?
I want that A-Rap money, bro. I'm not gonna cap. I'm kind of biased, man. I just want an open purse for my manager.
Hey, so man, we all do. We all do.
But like for my fifth team, I would have, looking at the least, I have to push you Liverpool, bro.
That's insane.
Because you guys are coming off of a back end of where this FSG group had a long-term project, right? Entering Klopp, right? No, the project started before Klopp. It started with Brendan Rodgers, I believe. I believe that was the same time they took over. Correct me if I'm not mistaken. Because watching the investment from the Liverpool team in that era where you were playing with your Skirtles and your Benayoons and your that
don't remind me, fam. Don't remind me.
And like transitioning to now, you're getting Luis Suarez in the team, Coutinho. You know what I mean? There was a somewhat of a revolution that was happening within the squad.
But those were relatively cheap buys, though.
Honestly, no, I'm not saying that there were like heavy investments. I'm saying that there was a direction that was implemented with them being there, and they analyzed Brendan Rodgers, said he's not the guy. Let's get this guy in Dortmund to come coach this team. And they gave Klopp the time, gave Klopp his players with a smart strategy, because they didn't buy crazy. How much you guys get Sadio Mane from Southampton?
I don't know, probably
less
30,
than 30.
30, around 30.
Around 30. It was a
40,
steal.
though.
It was a steal. Thinking United also wanted him too.
But that's the thing, though, with those, like I'm saying, those guys, those were cheap buys. The one thing that FSG did right was to bring in Klopp.
For sure.
Because it's managed to mask their sheer incompetence over the years and their failure to reinvest in the club. Okay. But the one thing they got right was they got Klopp.
For sure.
And he managed to turn Liverpool's fortunes around. But we've been in this upward trajectory over a past period of time, but we've only won one league title.
That's the thing.
We've won one Champions League title, one FA Cup, one Carabao Cup.
That's not bad. Some of us, I feel like
since Klopp has been at the club, that's like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
You see? So like I'm saying, because we're always performing and whatnot, and I mean we're up against the juggernaut in Manchester City, so I'm not really complaining about that. My thing though is that Klopp and his brilliance and his tactics and what he's brought into the team has managed to mask a lot of what is happening to that the mismanagement of FSG is not really apparent, man. There's so many signings that Klopp has wanted over the past couple of years. We're about to miss out on Bellingham, who we've been waiting on for 2 years, simply because we've been priced out. Yet we're one of the highest grossing teams in terms of profit over the past couple of years in the entire world. So those are some of the things that, man, but
What would be the reasoning for that? Because I mean, okay, it's obvious that Liverpool is not known as a team that breaks world transfer records for their players, even though you guys spend big on what Gakpo. But
that's
going back in the
yeah.
years,
I think that's the thing also that I have the structure, not just in terms of signings, but the wage structure as well, is the reason why we can't attract some of these big names even when they're free agents.
That's true.
Because we're not going to pay them much money. We were fighting to pay Salah, who's been one of the best goal scorers, one of the best
Boot
chance makers in the Premier League, over 300,000. We're fighting. We couldn't keep Sadio Mane because we couldn't afford to pay both Salah and Mane at the same time. You understand? So it's not just about the signings, also the wage structure within the club. That's also messed up. So that's like I think it's a similar thing to United, where there's like the club in terms of the leadership and then in terms of the day to day, like there's that divorce in terms of the expectations and the output. So, surprise, surprise, it's American owners.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I have them at my number 5, TBH. Who's your
man? That hurts, man, because I think they're awful. But at 4, I'm gonna have the Arsenal owners.
The
Cronkies.
Yeah.
I don't think Arsenal sacking has anything to do with the owners. I think
a second what in terms of like
the past couple of years,
years.
Maybe the last 10 years or the last 20 years since they've last won the league.
I feel you.
I think it's got more to do with just, you know, it's a cycle, man. Football is such a cycle. You have those moments where you're just on an upward trajectory, and they had been in that upward trajectory from the late 90s and the 2000s and the early 2010s. They could win FA Cups and stuff like that.
True.
So for them, I think it's more with that, you know. It's just football is cyclical, and then
that's
Wenger also lets him go of the reins. So obviously they were gonna struggle in some things, but I mean over the years they've just bought players for insane amounts of money that they probably shouldn't have. They invested in your guys like your Lacazettes. They invested in your Obas. They invested in I forgot this guy. I think he was coming
Pepe.
from. They invested in your guys like Pepe. So yeah, man, I think it's got more to do with just how the club is run on a day-to-day basis more than the owners for me.
True. From my perspective, like you said, coming through the 90s era and the early 2000s, where Arsenal were a budding young team. I think they won the league twice?
They won the league 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times within that era. And this is before moving to the Emirates, where before they were at the hybrid.
Yeah.
And I remember the large complaints of Arsenal fans during that period when they moved to the Emirates is that they had to take a huge loan to pay off for the construction of that stadium. So they couldn't necessarily invest heavy like your Chelsea's, your cities,
and that's when you saw Chelsea begin to ascend.
Exactly, because they had that cash flow, bro, of just investing. So I think that restriction really changed the business structure of how Arsenal was run, where they relied on the academy, where it's a Barcelona type system where you implement in the youth. And Wenger, you have to give props for Wenger for bringing gems out like Fabregas, Wilshere, like talented players.
Even your Walcott.
I mean, your Chamberlain. I mean, they really believed in playing the youth, and that meant that they were always never like like experienced enough to fully get to, to the finish line and actually win, where you stay in that chase for top 4. But like more recently, I feel like they hit a stride once they got Arteta and fully trusted Arteta and let him go through the period of building and growth, because this is what Arteta's 3rd or 4th season. Third season, and last summer they really invested into him. They backed him up in the past two windows, TBH, or even 4.
And you can see that because there's some sort of semblance of a structure.
Straight.
In the way they want to play, you can see the club invest in the team moving forward.
And they're seeing it's the time to cash in.
Yeah.
Where they've in the past previously, where they saw in City and Liverpool, why are we investing this much for this player where we know we can't even really compete? So I feel like they've done well to get to this point, but it's still a process. You get until they actually win something, because that's what we base it on. We judge them off of. So for them, Kroenke and them, for right now, y'all straight. They're straight, bro. You get for right now. If they don't win, then we'll see what happens.
But for now, they're good.
I feel like they're good.
Third, and I'm not gonna have much to say because I mean, I'm gonna go with the Spurs owners. Right? It's Spurs. I don't really want to talk about them. Plus, I'm just really annoyed that we almost lost a 3-0 lead to them over the weekend. That was an embarrassing performance. Thank you for saving us, Diogo Jota, but it never should have been close to begin with. So I'm gonna go Spurs. I really don't know much in terms about the business structure at Spurs and everything. I just know that it's Spurs, man. You're perennial losers. It's got nothing to do with the owners. It's just maybe there's a curse. I don't know. It's got nothing to do with the owners.
For me, I mean the owners can set good intentions, but remember how on a high Tottenham started the season. I was looking at that Tottenham team like, hey.
Yeah, because especially that midfield with your Huebias and Rodrigo Bentancur before he got hurt and everything. They were pretty solid.
And the past 2 seasons of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son wilding out on
Bro, even just a couple of months ago when they beat City, it was like
they had like the foundation.
Plus it was Conte, so you sort of felt like Conte has this thing where he wins league titles.
True.
So even in the beginning you thought they were gonna, but they just sort of dwindled off. You can't tell me that has anything to do with the owners. Conte came out and said it himself. There's just the club is rotten from within, like the players and coaching staff and stuff like that. So I don't think it's got anything to do with the owners, man.
Yeah, it's more of a management thing.
It's more of a leadership within the team and with the players they have in and just the mentality. Because the team hasn't really won anything.
Been in that
so they don't have that clutch mentality, that winning mentality that teams that have experienced winning, like your Uniteds and your Liverpool and your Chelseas have, bro. So even the players are kind of like spoiled to a certain extent, especially because of those years where they were overachieving under Poch. But Spurs has always made signings, bro. Season after season, they're signing somebody, and there's always been investment. So I don't think it's an ownership thing. Just that English clubs have this mentality where if something doesn't go right or results aren't going our way, the owners, are at fault. Yeah, I would say Spurs.
I can't really blame them, man. Build a great stadium. They just need football. They need trophies in those cabinets. That's it.
Yeah, they need to sell Harry Kane, bro.
Yeah, let him come to United.
They need to move from Harry Kane.
Come United once. So who else is left?
For me, number 2, I'm gonna go Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Todd Bowley and them.
Todd Bowley and them. Eish, that's.
And this is the only reason I have them here is because I think even you can see, bro, the depression on every single Chelsea fan's face that you meet in the street. I think coming from the Roman Abramovich era to this era, man, it's been hectic for them, fam.
Facts. It's a big adjustment, man. It's been a roller coaster because the way it ended with Abramovich, with him being forced out.
Yeah. It wasn't like a happy separation or anything. He was forced out, and Roman was really about the football.
He was
really
passionate
about the
about
football. Now you have these owners that aren't really much about the football, that are trying this and that.
For sure. But I think it's like coincidentally, bro, it almost reminds me of how Roman used to do it. How Roman was very harsh with his managers, very strict. Even if you win Champions League, you can still get fired. And the high turnover rate of managers was a business model that worked out for them.
Yeah.
The amount of trophies they've accumulated the past 10 years
With different managers. Yeah.
It's not like there's been like long reigns of 2 or 3 years of a specific team. So they found a way, especially Roman, of managing that type of business structure within your club. And this new guy, Todd Bowley, comes in where I'm seeing too much of him, bro. I'm seeing you.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
I
get what you're saying. There was a report that came out that he was in the dressing room the other day telling the players how their performance was embarrassing or stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're doing too much. They're doing too much. So man, for me, I have them here strictly off the basis like it's such an adjustment because the fans were literally in love. I'm pretty sure the fans that have posters of players in their rooms next to the posters of the player, bro, they probably had a poster of Abramovich or something. That's how Chelsea fans were in love with him. Now they have to adjust to new owners. Even when the owners are doing something that Roman would do, if it doesn't bring out the same results that they're used to, they're definitely going to blame the owner. So that's why I have them there.
Sure.
And I mean, like I said earlier, even though you disputed what I was saying, I feel like number one, worst owners, bro, in the Premier League has to be FSG, man. They're not taking care of us, bro. There was a period there 2 years back, even last year, bro, we were in for the quadruple. Something that had never been done. We lost out on the league on the last day. In like probably a period of 20 minutes, Aston Villa was 2-0 up. And then we lost in the final of the Champions League. And then what did we do? Nothing. We went and bought Darwin Núñez.
Bro.
When our weakness is the past couple of seasons has been our midfield. We still will literally want to run Fabinho and Jordan Henderson to the ground.
Yes. Those legs are getting old.
Those legs are getting old and tight, and this season they've been exposed. So my number one problem with that is there was a period there where we were at our peak that we should have taken advantage of in terms of refreshing and renewing the squad, setting it up for the future. We failed to do that and are only trying to do that now. So that's my problem.
But it's happened in such a short span of time, though. Don't you think, for sure, it was a necessary thing. It's just like this conversation where we knew we can't win the league with McTominay and Fred. And we kept complaining. We kept blaming Pogba for it. Imagine Casemiro was in this midfield with Pogba and
2 years ago.
Fernandes. You know, and solved the problem that we're clearly yelling at. That lasted like 5 years, bro.
I totally get where you're coming from.
So I understand but the thing is, the dissension has been rapid to me, and the way it's happened, even though you guys are coming back up in the table, how it all collapsed was a bit wild.
It was always there. The cracks, I think, were always there towards the end of the season. Bro, I mean, guys will always get on my case because probably one of my favorite players, and but that midfield was kept afloat by Thiago, bro.
Yeah, man, straight up.
So the moment he got injured and isn't available to play, the midfield is got to.
Niggas.
You didn't give us a time limit.
Hey, bro, 23 minutes. Guys, just end the video now. 23 minutes.
We were in it, dog. It was a podcast now. I can't lie.
Nah, not 23 minutes.
I
Bro, we're dropping gems.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, we're touching.
Space, just say subscribe. What else? You've done your list, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just entered.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Tell us your top 5 teams with the best managers or owners. Let me say that.
Let's get that Arab money.
The worst. You guys were talking about the worst, right?
Yeah. The worst.
Worst.